Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have everything yet still struggle with depression? Some people may wrongfully say, oh, they are not grateful, but it's a bit more than that sometimes, many times. That question stops many people from speaking up because they think they shouldn't feel the way they do. Just the fact that they feel I have everything, so I don't have a right to feel this way. Hi there, I'm Dr. Otefe Edebi. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and a psychologist, and I love doing mental health educational videos to help people grow awareness, provide better understanding, and possibly build mental resilience. In this final mini episode on depression, let's talk about why depression happens and why people often may stay silent about it. So people are experiencing depression and why they may stay silent about it. One of the biggest misunderstanding is that depression must have one clear cause. It's almost like if someone is experiencing depression, you're almost saying that why are you depressed? There must be a reason. And sometimes not just someone asking that question, even the person experiencing may be like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I keep struggling with this feeling? And why am I not just myself? Why is everything like a tax and a chore? And why don't things excite me anymore? Now, one of the biggest misunderstanding, like I said, is that it's not necessarily as a result of one clear cause. In reality, it's usually a mix of factors. So sometimes it follows difficult experiences. That's correct. So you may lose someone important, relationship breakdown, financial stress or work pressure, big life changes, transitioning, you started a new position or you started a new phase of your life. You went from home to being a student or from home to being a spouse, that life changes and all of that. That may sometimes trigger it, but other times it could also be influenced by long-term stress. You've been in a stressful situation for a very, very long time, or it could be physical health problems. There are physical health problems associated with depression, cancer, chronic issues, and there are also some other physical health directly that impact on depression. And there are also medication that can also trigger that. It could be also a family history. There could be a family history of depression. It could be brain chemistry. So you see that there are multiple factors that can trigger or can influence or cause someone to be depressed. So next time, don't often just think that there has to be a clear, evident reason. There are multiple factors that may come together. Maybe a single factor, maybe a complex factor, like different factors coming together. And sometimes there is no obvious trigger. That's also a possibility at all, which can make people feel confused or even guilty for struggling. When there's no obvious reason why you feel depressed. But depression isn't something people choose. I want us to understand that. And it isn't something people can simply snap out of. Very important. So why don't more people talk about it? Why? It's quite common. It's a medical condition and it's very, very common. So why don't people come up and speak up and say, this is what I'm passing through? Why do so many people don't talk about it? Often because they worry they'll be judged, they worry they'll be dismissed. I can't tell you the amount of people that say, well, when I told someone, they just felt you don't have a right to be depressed, everything is working for you. Why are you depressed? Remember, I said that sometimes there's even no obvious reason, and that is a possibility. Or that they are just told, just be positive, just be positive about it. And if I don't want to step on anyone, but people just say things, just snap out of it, just be positive, or they're dismissed and all of that. And this kind of reaction often just keep people not wanting to talk about it. But can I say this? Speaking up can be very, very powerful. Speaking up can be very, very powerful. You might start small. Tell a friend you've been having a tough time talk to a family member, maybe reach out to a professional, or even just admitting to yourself and just say, I'm not okay right now. Something is not right. You don't need to handle everything alone. Support does exist, and reaching out for it is a sign of strength, not weakness. Reaching out for that support is a sign of strength. I commend everyone out there who struggle with depression and have reached out to say, I feel like harming myself, or I feel like this is how the thoughts are going through my mind. It's hard to speak up because you may get dismissed, but please, it's very powerful to speak up, and I do encourage you, reach out for help. And there are helplines, there are professionals, there are family members that can help. And I want to encourage you, it's strength. It's a sign of strength to be able to ask for help. It's not weakness to ask for help. Please take care of yourself this week. And if someone comes to mind, maybe check in on them too. Having listed all of this, you've been following this series, check in on them and just ask them, how are you doing? And take time to listen. And that would be so helpful. Thanks for listening once again. Bye.